Vacation, all I ever wanted. Vacation, have to get away.
Today we're talking about vacations. Alright, hello and welcome back to For These Are My Thoughts. I'm Blake and I'm once again joined by Joe.
This time, Mustache Joe.
Mustache Joe, the Flamingo Joe. And today is Joe's birthday. Happy birthday, Joe.
I feel more like an old fart every single day. And even more so today.
Nice. Yeah, so Joe has joined the 25-year-old club. And today we're going to talk about vacations. And the reason we're going to talk about vacations is because it's just about summertime. Even here in North Wisconsin, we have summer. But before we talk about summer, if you would not mind liking the video and hitting the subscribe button so you never miss an episode, we like to try to make you laugh on For These Are My Thoughts. And we're going to try to do that today by talking about good vacations and bad vacation experiences. I personally do not have a lot of experience with vacations because my family never really took a ton of like we never left the state for vacation unless you consider going to like a family reunion or a graduation party as vacation. So I've only taken really, I would say, one true like vacation in my entire life, and that was my honeymoon. You've gone on vacations.
Yeah, I've gone on a few, a lot more when I was younger, but I think I have a list of some good ones and some bad ones. Like ones that I've gone on my own for vacations, ones that I've gone with my family. Yeah.
Nice. And I've asked some of you to share some of your vacation stories, and so we have two that we're going to share today. One good vacation and one bad vacation story. So let's start with the good vacation. So I'll start with my honeymoon because how can I'm sure that there have been bad honeymoons, but ours was not. We went to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and did a lot of hiking and hanging out on beaches, and that's all I have to say about that. I mean, again, I've only been on one vacation, and
he doesn't want to get into the details because we all know it's a honeymoon, right?
Okay, moving on.
So I think my best vacation had to be a study abroad trip. So for those of you that know me, I'm actually a master scuba diver. I'm not like an official master scuba diver, but I have all the qualifications for one. I just have to have more dives. But I have all of the harder stuff that you have to do to get it. So you have to go on special types of dives. You have to be certified for those dives. So like I'm night dive certified. I'm special oxygen use certified. Rescue diving certified, shipwreck diving certified, and only you can do those in like areas where they scuba dive a lot. So the scuba diving capital of the world is Bonaire, and so it's one of the ABC islands off of the Caribbean, near the coast of Venezuela. And we went down there for so I took scuba diving for like one of my senior classes, like as a kind of a joke a little bit, because I had done all my hard courses, so I just had all my easy electives left for my senior year. And so my first semester I took regular scuba diving, got certified. And if you can scuba dive in Lake Superior, you can basically scuba dive anywhere in the world. It's super cold. The currents are very strong. The visibility is awful. So, I mean, we literally wore like long johns under our wetsuits. It was so bad.
But you still had fun?
Yeah, I still had fun. But then my second semester, like our instructor from the first semester had said, I finally got approved with Northern Michigan, and I got approved for going on a trip to Bonaire, the diving capital of the world, and you guys will get master certified for the majority of your stuff. And do you guys want to do it? And I was like, heck yeah. Like, I want to go study abroad. It's like on my spring break and stuff. And so yeah, I decided to go down. I've got my own gear now. still haven't gone scuba diving since, just because there's not really anywhere to scuba dive or any time to currently. But went down. I actually had, it was, I know exactly where I got sick beforehand. And it was Ash Wednesday. And so I just decided to make sure I celebrate the right way. And I had the common cup of wine, right? And so I think that's where I got sick, because it was kind of that, it's
So you
still
got
in that
sick
flu
on your best
season and
vacation?
stuff. Yeah, right beforehand.
You
and
and
I was
I have
starting
very
to
different
feel
definitions of a good vacation.
I had a sinusitis beforehand, and you're not supposed to dive if you're like sick, but I was just like, and
Risk it
everybody
for the
knows
biscuit.
that, but I was like, we all spent this money to go down on this trip. I'm not gonna not dive. So the first, like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. In the first day, even, like, my scuba diving buddy, bless his heart, went the opposite direction on the very first dive. So I'm not gonna leave him by himself. So I just went with him. And that was a bad idea. You're not supposed to do that, but I got him to come back up to the surface so that he realized he just completely veered off from the entire group. Let's see, the second dive, we didn't take any breaks in between, like, going for lunch, because we were just so excited to be diving and in a really tropical area. And so we just dove right away. And we did our orienteering course of it. So, like, learning how to, like, use a compass underwater. But we were also, like, in some very strong currents and tides. So you're just getting whipped around while trying to use a compass. And we hadn't ate anything or drank anything. So I was actually getting dehydrated underwater. And I basically just said, I'm done. I, like, signaled, and I got out of the water onto the shore, and I'm just, like, ripping off my wetsuit. Like I'm, like, ripping off all my clothes because I was just so hot and dehydrated, and I got everything off of me, and there's this just large jug of water, and I just downed the whole thing. And then our last dive, we do 3 dives during the day, and you had to have adequate time in between so that you can, like, recuperate and go on more dives. We did a night dive, and that sinusitis got so bad because you have to equalize your pressures. And I actually ended up having just blood cover in my goggles, and they're, like, filling up to here. But I was still okay. But then we got to the top, and I, like, empty it out, and my dive buddy's like, you know there's sharks out here, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, good point. But, I mean, we were at the end of our dive, so it really wasn't a big deal. But, yeah, I had to deal with a sinusitis the whole week. And then I got an ear infection, too, on top of it all, because of all the water going in and out. Just crusted up. It was nasty. But I actually loved the trip. The trip was so much fun. Got to eat lionfish. Just kind of going on an adventure with people that are similar in your age, I think, is a really fun thing. And instead of, like, this big age difference where you, like, want to do something and you're like, I don't want to do that. But it was cool. And we had our like own place that was right next to the beach line. And so I thought it was great. It was a wonderful vacation, even though it was school, basically. But it was fun.
Yeah, that's interesting that your favorite vacation includes you being sick and bleeding into goggles. But that's not what one of our loyal watchers, Stephanie, messaged and said, okay, here we go. Her favorite trip. One of her favorite trips with her family. Stephanie is also, full disclosure, the older sister of John and Josh Carolus, who have been on the show before. But she says Yellowstone. Going to Yellowstone National Park was a great vacation. It was so beautiful. They camped all the way there. So driving there, they camped. And they saw a lot of things. When they got to Yellowstone, they stayed at a campground on site and spent 4 to 5 days hiking around. One of the waterfalls, which she doesn't remember the name of, was gorgeous. when you took pictures of it, it didn't look real. Now that's cool. I've seen some waterfalls. That's what we did a lot of on our honeymoon, Hannah and I, is we saw a lot of waterfalls. And I would agree, if you can get like the perfect shot of a waterfall, people don't believe you're actually there. Speaking from experience. Stephanie also sent another favorite trip, which was going to New York, Washington, D.C., and Niagara Falls. I haven't been to neither of those three places. Have you been to any of those places?
No, I want to go to New York. I've really wanted to go for a long time.
I'm not sure.
But can't do anything right now, so...
Big cities aren't really my thing. But she said that she loved that trip, too, because there were a lot of awesome things. She said that New York was not her favorite portion, which, Stephanie, I would probably agree with you because I don't do big cities.
Oh, I love cities.
The things I want to see in New York include Madison Square Garden.
That's fair.
That's it.
You don't want to see like Central Park or anything like that?
Not really.
Saturday Night Live?
Oh, I would watch. Yes, I would watch Saturday Night Live. Rockefeller Plaza. Okay, so there's two: Madison Square Garden and Rockefeller Plaza. Anyways, but she loved being in Washington, D.C. because of the history. They went to the World War I monument near the National Mall. They went to the Spy Museum, which I did not know they would have a thing. Sounds like counterproductive to spies, a spy museum. But they also went to Niagara Falls and did things like that, did touristy things. And that was her favorite vacation. And not to pivot too quickly, right? Because I don't really have a ton of vacation things. My rec at the end of the episode is going to be my family's like form of a vacation will be my rec to you. But let's pivot to bad vacations now. And I have someone sent in probably one of the funniest things I've read in a while. So I will share that first.
All right.
This is from my friend Alicia, who I worked with at Camp Luther. Her and her family took a trip to Hayward, Wisconsin, which is, I guess, a vacation place, a touristy place in northern Wisconsin. But on their way there, they put down their dog. Oh. Isn't that tragic? Yeah, they put down their dog. So she said, I asked her to share more. She said, I don't really remember a lot of the trip other than someone was always crying on the trip because we just put our dog down. I don't know why my parents made us do that, but they thought it was a good idea. So,
that's awful. Quick
little tip. If you're going on summer vacation, don't put your dog down right before you go. It's not actually that much of an escape. Like, you should mourn your pets. But you have another story, Joe, of a bad trip.
I've got two bad vacations. So one's like an intermediate because it was a really good trip, but then also kind of bad. And then I've got one that was just straight up bad.
Okay.
So we'll start with the intermediate. So I highly recommend if you're a kid or like a parent wanting to plan a vacation, Disney World is awesome. Like going to Florida, going to Disney, going to Universal Studios. So we went 2 years in a row. But the first, I think it was the first, or no, it was the second, I think. First, maybe. Year that we went down is, so we'd go on a lot of vacations with my godparents and my cousin, and we would just have a good time. A fun thing behind that is actually that, so my godmother, she's also my dad's cousin, and she actually set both my mom and my dad up on their first date.
Okay.
My mom worked at the same department store as my godmother, and so that's just like how close our family has been. However, when I went down there, I actually had like a limp, and I didn't know why. And now I'm in medicine, and I think I just had this thing called a transient synovitis. And it's
just a simple thing.
It's weird. In kids, it's you have a viral illness like a cold or something, just something minor, and then all of a sudden a few days later you just start limping, and it resolves on its own. And I think I had that because everybody had no idea why I was complaining so much, and I was limping around when we're in basically the most magical place in the world. And I was just being miserable the whole time. And I think I had that. And actually, my parents had to push me around in a stroller. A 7-year-old kid in a stroller. And so that was interesting. I also got attacked by seagulls on the beach because I was trying to like put like on a little badminton racket like some Doritos, and then all of a sudden there's like 30 seagulls trying to chase me around. So I got afraid of seagulls on that trip because they're vicious. So don't feed the birds. So yeah, that was that trip. But honestly, I loved that trip. It was awesome, especially as a kid. But limping around that whole week was just, I got made fun of so much by my family, even at 7 years old, because I just was limping around everywhere. Yeah, but then my worst trip, I think the worst family vacation trip was going out west. So I found it funny that Steph was just like, oh, I loved Yellowstone. I was like, no. So it was just my mom and my dad, and we took a trip out west, and we just drove out there. Mm-hmm. So we hit up North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. We went to Wyoming.
Through the Badlands?
Yeah, we went through the Badlands. But like that car drive, being an only child, was awful. Like all it is just driving. And my dad would just stop for every buffalo that we see. And I'm like, Dad, we just saw a buffalo and there's this field full of buffaloes. Like, why do we have to look at another buffalo? I mean, I liked stopping for the prairie dogs and watching them. Like, I'd chase one and then it'd pop up on the other side of the road. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that really got to me the most was, so my mom had decided that, like, oh, we're going to go whitewater rafting, right? And, like, for somebody who's 12, 13 years old, they're like, yeah, let's go whitewater rafting. And so I was looking forward to that the whole week. And my mom mistaked not only the place, but the time and day that it was going to be happening. So we completely passed over. And this was supposed to happen towards the end of the week. So I'm sitting in this hot car with my parents the whole week. I'm all by myself trying to entertain myself on this trip and trying to build up my excitement for the whitewater rafting. Didn't even go because my mom missed it and mistaked it. And I have not gone whitewater rafting to this day, and I'm really upset about it.
I can tell.
I think the only thing that was amusing was being in, I think it was Cody, Wyoming, and going to the rodeo. Like a legit rodeo, not like a Wisconsin-style rodeo, like rodeo. I thought that was cool. But other than that, I kept myself entertained. I put a PlayStation 2 in the car.
What'd you play?
Kingdom Hearts. Had some Disney vibes I was holding on to, I guess. But
from the time you limped around Disney?
Yep.
Pushed in a baby stroller?
Mm-hmm. So, yep, that was my worst vacation. I will never go back out west again. Ever.
Come on,
I'm
man.
sorry to my kids and being able to see historic things. Like, yeah, we got to see like Mount Rushmore and everything, but I don't think we're gonna do it. I'm gonna tell my kids to read about it. And that's gonna be that.
Wow, that is wild. Maybe you have a really funny or bad or awesome vacation experience. You can pop that in the comment section below. My recommendation is the vacations that we went on when I was growing up, and that is to go to the Wisconsin Dells. You might not be from Wisconsin, but that is a very Wisconsin thing to do on your vacations, is to head to the Wisconsin Dells and go like to Kalahari. We did that. We went to Mount Olympus. We did that. They have like a downtown area that's filled with like Ripley's
Please Believe It or Not. The Wizard Quest.
Yes.
I loved Wizard Quest.
All these places like laser tag, a whole bunch. You can get like t-shirts and all this junk. But that is my recommendation, is I encourage you to check out the Wisconsin Dells if you haven't already. Again, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Until next time, these are Joe's and I's thoughts on vacations. Happy summer.
Deuces.
We'll see you soon.